Hello, and thank you for joining me today. It's lovely to see you all. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about three sailors. Three young sailor lads, in fact, who came from the village of Dundrennan on the Solway coast, which is just about 5 miles or so from Kirkcudbright. Now, these young sailors, when they weren't at sea, they would spend all their time in the local inn. However, every day they would go down to the harbour to check on their boat. Now, it only took about 4 or 5 minutes from the inn to the harbour, the quick way. However, that's not the way they went. No, they went the long way, which took them about 10-15 minutes. Why was that, you're wondering? Well, if they went the shortest way, they would have to pass a cottage belonging to an old woman. And some in the village said that this old woman was a witch. Now, we come to the last day before they were going to set out to sea. In the morning, as usual, they checked on their boat. They went the long way round. They went back to the inn and started drinking. And they were there all day, which wasn't unusual. But because it was the last day, they decided to have an extra drink. And while they were in the inn, they were talking about this old woman from the cottage. And whether it was because they had an extra drink and it gave them more Dutch courage or not, we don't know. But they thought, well, let's just go by this cottage and see this woman for ourselves. Well, the youngest one wasn't keen on doing that. But anyway, when the inn closed, they started walking down to the harbour, the quick way. Sure enough, they come close to the cottage, and the woman was standing outside. And as they got up to the door, she said to them, "Ah, you've come to see an old woman tonight, have you? Have a talk with me before you go to sea." Well, the youngest one, fueled by that extra drink, said, "No, not at all. You're an old witch. We don't want anything to do with you." Well, that got her really angry and was shaking her hands and going silly and calling all sorts of names. And the other two joined in and called her an old witch, and they ran away. Well, when they'd gone, the old woman muttered to herself, "You will not do that again." Well, they got down to the boat and they were quite pleased with themselves. They thought, oh, we've been really brave, these young sailor boys. Well, they set off to sea. It was calm. It was a nice evening, in fact, until the weather broke. It got dark and a storm blew up. Well, the next morning, a man was walking along the beach with his dog. And he saw a boat up ahead, and he sort of recognised the boat. And when he got close, he said, "Yes, that's the sailor boys' boat." But there was no sign of the boys. So the man asked round. Nobody had seen them, not since the night before. They were well known in the inn. If anybody had seen them, they would have remembered and recognised them. 2 days after that, the three sailor boys were washed up on the shore, just a little bit further up from the boat. Could it be that the old woman had got her revenge? Or was it just a coincidence? Well, we leave you all to think about that for yourself. And there's lots of tales like this from the Solway coast. And perhaps I'll bring you another one another day. And thank you for listening. Goodbye for now.